In February 2016, I was working in Venezuela. I was very inspired. I'd been there 9 years. I was running the Proud Research Institute. I love my work. I love the people. I love the country. I was very inspired. One day, at a small domestic airport in Venezuela, I was arrested. I was shocked. They said that I was accused of a crime that had taken place 21 years before in India. I knew I was completely innocent of this. I knew nothing about it until afterwards. I read in the newspapers, as everybody did. But I was accused of being a conspirator in that. So suddenly, I'm taken to a jail cell. It was quite small. I believe it was maybe 4 to, I guess maybe 5, it must have been 5 meters long and about 3 meters wide. There were 14 prisoners there. I shook hands with every prisoner, and I discovered that one of them was actually a lawyer. So when he heard about my case, he says, it'll take months. Wow. So I sat down and I thought, I'm a spiritualist. According to Ananda Sutra, it says that there's a material cause for everything that happens. And I knew the material cause. I was accused of a crime that I was innocent of. However, Ananda Sutra says there's also a spiritual cause for everything that happens. And that's more important than the material cause. Okay, Baba, it must be that you want me here. I don't know why you want me here. But my color orange means I'll go anywhere in the world to serve you. And if this is where you want me, here I am. I remembered 2 people, good friends of mine, both in the United States. Prakash Laufer in Massachusetts at 4:30 in the morning was driving to a men's group meeting, and another car coming the other way on the highway, driven by a Brazilian just getting off of work. The driver fell asleep, crossed the meridian, and head-on collision at high speed. The other driver immediately died. Prakash was smashed in the car, many broken bones, but he survived. Rescue came very quickly, took him to the hospital. He was months recovering. Almost identical thing happened to family Acharya Chittasmita in the state of Vermont. She's also hit by another driver. Both of them, the best people in the world. Everybody respects them and loves them. And they suddenly, 6 months or more, they're recovering. So that actually inspired me. I hadn't done anything wrong, but I'm in jail. We were very tight. I'm used to sleeping on the floor. I always do. But we were so tight sometimes that I can feel one body on one side of me and one body on the other side of me. Quickly, within a couple of weeks, I caught scabies, which is a parasite that bores into the skin and lays its eggs. It causes terrible itching. It's been around for thousands of years. I didn't know any cure for it. I didn't even know what it was exactly, but I sure had it the whole time I was inside. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, said, anything that doesn't kill me makes me stronger. So I decided I wanted to become stronger. I did 2 hours of asanas every day when I had enough space to do asanas, usually. And the best time for meditation was early morning when everybody was asleep. I could wake up around 3 or 4 and sit for 3 hours of meditation. It was very inspiring. Once I started to feel sorry for myself. I'd been there a couple weeks. I'm writing in my journal and I started to write a sentence. This is a terrible place. And I feel I never finished the sentence because another prisoner on the other side of the cell playing cards suddenly looked up and shouted over to me and said, "Hey, Dada, estás bien? Everything okay?" I looked up, he smiled and went back to his card game. He obviously had no idea what I'm thinking. But I think Baba knew very well what I'm thinking and wanted to say, no, that's not what this is about. That's not why you're here. A friend of mine, a good friend in Brazil, is Frei Beto. He's a Catholic monk who has published 70 books. He's very famous in Latin America. And we used to do workshops together, teaching meditation. Dada Gyanananda went to visit him, and he heard about my case. He himself had been a prisoner in Brazil during the military dictatorship for 4 years. He knew what I was going through. Not the exact details, but prison in Brazil and prison in Venezuela, very similar. I used to teach in prisons for years in Brazil. Now and in Venezuela, actually. Now suddenly I was inside one. Once a week, I was allowed out in handcuffs, of course, to go to a court or to a medical checkup. And each time in those handcuffs, I'm remembering 12 million innocent men, women, and children in Africa who had been kidnapped and brought in heavy chains to the Americas as slaves. All of them were innocent too. I was not allowed to write. I was not allowed to write or receive letters. I smuggled letters out. And every week, I was allowed a visitor. 5 minutes. It was timed. 5 minutes. And 1 or 2 people could come and sit on the other side of the table with other prisoners here and the other visitors there. And we had 5 minutes to talk. And then I had to wait another 7 days and nights for another 5 minutes of bliss. Finally, after 7 months, it was determined that I was innocent. I should not be extradited to India. I said, what if I just go to India? They said it would be 3 to 4 years in a jail cell waiting for a trial to prove your innocence. And frankly, I couldn't even guarantee that nobody wouldn't, the government, it was that high profile case. It was the greatest embarrassment to the government of India. And would they pay somebody to make false testimony or make some false evidence to implicate me? So we decided to get lawyers and fight the case. And finally, it worked. I was released after 7.5 months, but instead of being allowed to walk out the door, I was handed over to officers from the Immigration Service because my 1-year visa had expired while I was in jail. And I spent another 2 months in the Immigration Detention Center. It's another jail. We had beds in that jail cell, and we could walk around a little bit, but it was still a prison. Everybody in that Immigration Detention Center, the crime, everyone was we had been born in the wrong country. All the immigration detention centers in the world, that's the crime that everyone is guilty of. Finally, after 9.5 months, I was released. I hope that I learned a little more patience, a little more humility, and more surrender. For me, it was a spiritual retreat. I'm grateful for that time. It wasn't pleasant, but I was with Baba the whole time. And he made it very clear to me that he was with me the whole time. Sometime time may stop for you too, because of an accident or some act of fate. You're burning samskaras, not just of you, but of others too. I hope that if that happens, you'll feel as I did, that suffering is a state of mind, and we can experience Baba's grace wherever we are. Thank you.